Hey folks, we're here in Fayetteville, Georgia with 8-time Mr. Olympia, the great Lee Haney, and this is Real Estate Our Way.
Clear the way, clear the way, clear the way when the bamboo come to play. Clear the way, clear the way, clear the way when the bamboo play, mama. Clear the way, clear the way, clear the way when the bamboo play, mama. Clear the way, clear the way, clear the way when the bamboo play, mama.
Hey folks, as always, thanks for watching. Please remember to hit the like and subscribe buttons. Also, follow us on Instagram. So Lee, thank you for joining us on Real Estate Our Way.
Real pleasure.
I have followed you since I was 10 years old. So
That's dating me, man. Wow.
That's dating me too, but I've been a fan and I followed you through the years, and it's really an honor and a pleasure to have you on.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
So with that, we were just curious, at what age did you become interested in bodybuilding?
Well, when I was 6 years old, I had this fantasy of growing up one day and becoming Samson and Hercules. So that's where it really began. And when I was around 10 years old, I asked my parents for a set of weights. And back then they had the weights that were made with clay with a little rubber on the top of it. The Charles Atlas sets. So my parents got me a set of those, and inside of it was the Charles Atlas workout. And so, man, I read everything I could get my hands on about training, then studied nutrition, then started reading the magazine with people like Robbie Robertson, Roy Callender, Arnold Schwarzenegger in it. And it all began there.
Right.
Then next thing you know, by the time I was 16 years old, I was prepping for my first bodybuilding competition.
16?
16.
Wow. So when did you realize that, I can probably be a professional bodybuilder?
Well, the idea of becoming a professional was far from anything that I would ever comprehend. I was just doing it for fun, as far as being a professional.
Right.
Whoo, that seemed like something far away. But after winning, let's say the Teenage America as a teenager, age of 19, then going on to winning the Junior Nationals in 1982, then winning the NPC Nationals, which I won in New York City, in 1982. And then going on a few weeks later to enter the Mr. Universe, which took place in Belgium. And after winning that, I was on my way. I knew I had it then, because when you grew up looking at some of the legends in the sport, and they're so far away,
right?
And you're from this little bitty town, and your mind said, man, will I ever get there? You know?
Right.
So I enjoyed the journey getting there.
Right.
I was never frustrated. I felt pressured. I gotta win.
Right.
I just won.
Okay.
I did what I did in the way of training, nutrition, and gathered as much knowledge as I could about the sport from reading and so forth. And the next thing you know, there I am on the stage with some of the greatest sports figures of all time.
Yeah. Must have been an awesome feeling.
Oh man, it was. And I caught the tail end of this era, when we call it the classic bodybuilding era, with Robbie Robertson, Danny Padilla, Frank Zane, Robbie Robertson, people like Roy Callender, Tom Platz. So I was the youngest of that crew. And so I came in right at the end of that era, and to be standing on the stage with these guys, even the great Sergio Olivier was there at my first Mr. Olympia.
Oh, so you were able to compete against him?
Well, you can't say I compete against a myth. You can't compete against a myth. He just happened to do a guest appearance.
Oh, okay.
I was competing against the other guy. Squeeze. There we go. Squeeze. Squeeze. We're talking about 10 reps. Squeeze. Very good. Squeeze. Squeeze. Squeeze, yeah. Squeeze, good, yeah. Squeeze, you're talking 10 reps. 8 to 10, 8 to 10. Squeeze. Squeeze. Squeeze.
But Miss Haney, I can tell you these guns feel like no other shirt could fit me right now because
Yeah, that was a good workout.
Yes,
man.
I definitely appreciate the workout. So, wanted to ask you, what's the difference between your first Mr. Olympia compared to the 8th Mr. Olympia? How does it feel different?
Well, I tell you what, man. Winning the first Mr. Olympia at the age of 24 was like a miracle. I mean, you know, it's people who work all of their lives and train all of their lives, and they never win the Mr. Olympia contest. Nor do they win the NPC Nationals, which says you're the best bodybuilder in the United States. But then to win the Mr. Olympia, the best bodybuilder in the world, which at that time included over 143 different countries, that's incredible. So man, I was just thrilled to walk off the stage and my arm be held in victory at that first one. And the thing about winning the first, you think to yourself, okay, I was successful on that shot. What can I do to be successful on the next shot? Now, so there's a certain amount of pressure that comes with that, trying to find that extra thing to make you better, because everyone is looking for you to be better. They don't settle for you being the same. You know, that's how the human mind is. So there was a pressure to be better year after year after year after year, to find the right posing music. You know, what can I say that can communicate my physique to its fullest. So the search for the right music was one of the things, and I never will forget going to see this movie called Excalibur.
Excalibur, okay.
The music was incredible, and I heard it gave me goosebumps. King Arthur, you know, having been reborn. And I wanted to be that rebirth bodybuilder. You know, the king is coming, somebody new, something you've never seen before. You know, with a 31.5-inch waist. You don't never see that. That's a bad boy there. Then weighing over 243 pounds for that first Olympia. And so, but then the deal was, and the pressure was, getting better and better each year. So that last Mr. Olympia, as I was told and as I feel, I was at my very, very best. The last set had to become my best set. And I attribute that through years of experience and allowing the body enough time to mature. Because from 1984 to 1991, I had only gained 11.5 pounds.
Oh, wow.
So I strategically added only roughly around 1.5 pounds a year, weight per year. To make sure the waist stayed where it needed to be, to make sure that the muscle separation and the muscle maturity, all of that was there. So that last Olympia, I knew that was it. The physique was fuller, and it seems to me the pressure was to get better, but the training was not as hard or tedious.
What business did you get into next?
Well, you know what? I was excited about what was to come next. You know, because after you do something for so long, it gets sort of redundant. I mean, I was still excited about being Mr. Olympia, and I've traveled over 35 countries around the world and really enjoyed myself. Met a lot of beautiful people and was paid to do so. So that's a great thing. But now let's see if we can take that same discipline, the dedication, and use it in other areas. So with that came public speaking. You know, so I was doing a lot of different conferences, speaking on health, fitness, wellness. Also, I do a lot of men ministry, you know, speaking at churches, speaking into the hearts of men, which I love that. That's a calling I know that I have on my life. Then the other thing was the other business side of it, you know, so who knows fitness better than someone who's been there, done that?
Yeah.
So I got into my training organization as far as I started training people like Evander Holyfield, Gary Sheffield, Shannon Sharp. Then that led me to train like Sean Bradley. I've trained, you know, Riddick Bowe, a lot of different professional athletes, also celebrities like Steve Harvey and so forth. Then upon that, I created my own supplement company called Haney Nutrition.
Yes.
So all of that stemmed from my work as a professional bodybuilder and 8-time world champion. And I was also granted the opportunity to serve as the chairman to the President's Council on Physical Fitness and Sports under President Bill Clinton.
Okay.
So I went about in different places in the United States, sharing the importance of health and fitness and wellness, particularly to young people. Because if you can get them moving in the right direction with health, then you've accomplished something. You make a healthier adult population. Also, I have a company called Manor Properties. Because one of the first things I started doing too, after winning doing the guest appearances, I started buying real estate.
Well, see, that's what I was going to ask you, because I was like, I know you dabbled in some real estate.
Oh,
you got a very interesting story about real estate too.
Yeah, the real estate, you know, that's something that I've always kept my eyes on. And people of wisdom that I had a chance to be around, they always talked about the importance of investing in real estate, because that's one thing God has made. He's not making any more. Here, at least I haven't seen it. He can do anything you want to do, but real estate is something that's real solid, particularly when it's talking about building wealth within the minority community. So I started doing that real early. And one of the things that I did too early is I invested in a piece of property after going to an auction to help a ministry. They was bidding for property, and if the auction got over a certain amount, they wouldn't be able to handle it. So me and my wife was asked by another friend of ours, because we never met the pastor, so we were there to help him. So in the midst of being there to help him, he got what he wanted. And then they said, oh, by the way, we're auctioning off some other properties. And it was at that auction that I was able to get 40 acres for $65,000.
What?
Wow.
40 acres for $65,000.
40 acres for
40 acres, yeah, for $65,000. And the thing about that is I had, you know, I was there to be a blessing to somebody else. And in the midst of blessing somebody else, I was blessed myself. I wasn't there to buy anything for myself, but I said, I've been looking for a place which I wanted to do a retreat center for kids and families to come out and see the beauty of nature, because I'm a country boy. You know, so I love nature. I love all of that about hitting the bird scene, walking through the parks and all of that. So it's amazing how when I went to do one thing to help somebody else, God ended up blessing me in the area of something I'd been looking for. And I was then being offered, got an offer for $65,000 per acre.
Wow.
So I ended up selling this place for over $2.4 million or so.
Ooh.
The $600,000 debt that I was owed paid off. Then I was able to then take the other funds and did a 1031 exchange, bought some income producing properties, plazas, you know, apartments and that kind of deal. And as a result, you know, here we are today.
Oh yeah.
You know, because of being a blessing, and then having wisdom, real estate, income producing real estate, and then understanding how to position the real estate in order to, you know, to have a, you know, great accounting to avoid capital gain taxes. Those kinds of things is real important. So you got to do your homework. And that's one of the things that I always try to share with young athletes. You know, don't party your fortune away. Be smart. You know, if you get you a nice car, something that's going to be dependable, you know, but be smart about your money. You're not going to be young forever, and you're not going to be making this kind of money forever. In some cases, some people get, you know, they blessed whereby they can, but you want to make sure you establish some type of reoccurring form of income. And real estate, particularly rental properties for investments, has been a real smart move for me.
So, why is temporary failure an important part of becoming ultimate success?
Well, you know what? I've never used the word failure because it's always something to be gained through experience. You know, okay, there can be setbacks, and you have to sort of retool yourself. But it's a good thing. It's a learning curve, a learning experience, because you know, what a burnt child dreads fire. So when you get burnt the first time, you learn, and you figure out how to do things differently. You look for additional wisdom, because there's a saying that if you don't plan for success, you're planning for failure. So that is a good thing when you have to, you know, it lets you know what you're made out of. You know, you go back to the drawing board. Like when I hit my first Mr. Olympia, I placed third. And I had been winning everything up to there. I said, okay, I placed third. What am I doing placing third place? So I wasn't happy, you know, and I always say anybody that don't mind losing is a loser. I don't like losing.
That's it.
So I had to, but I wanted to go back and see, well, what did I do wrong? And I sat down with a good friend of mine, a guy named Dr. Fred Hatfield. And we went over my meal plan, went over the training plan. After he pulled it all together, he looked at me and said, Lee, you can't train like a horse and eat like a bird. Because 4 weeks before that first Mr. Olympia in 1983, I weighed 243 pounds. Arnold saw me at the gym and he said, he was amazed. He said, Lee, how are you looking like this, you know, 4 weeks away from the show? You know, he was just dumbfounded. And I just shrugged my shoulders. I don't know. I'm just training. But the day of the show, I weighed only 233 pounds. So in 4 week period, I dropped 10 pounds.
Wow.
I still placed third, but it wasn't good enough to win the show because I looked better at 243. So I lost additional muscle. But the good thing in that failure, I had a roadmap. So I sat down with Dr. Fred Hatfield, went over the nutrition, went over the training. We found out where the missing link was. It was for a lack of nutrition. Then in my case, it was a lack of experience. So I learned from that point. In the following year, the 1984 Olympic, guess what? I weighed 243 pounds. The same weight I weighed the previous year. 4 weeks before the show, but it hit the show at only 233. So I had a roadmap to go back to, but once I got that right, I never lost again. Because I knew the importance of keeping notes, doing my homework, and keeping the right game plan in place, and watching how the body responded to training and to nutrition. So as I got closer to the show, 6 weeks out, my body needed more food because my metabolism started like that, you know, 4 months out. Then after I got about eight weeks out, it started doing that. Then I got 5 weeks out, it started doing it. Then 4 weeks, it was going crazy. So what happened, if you don't adjust the calories and watch the scale, your body will start to feed on the muscle. See, like in your case, we want the muscle to feed on the body fat. Since I didn't have body fat, it was feeding on my muscle. You see? So I learned from that. And I learned to keep a roadmap, you know, and then that's important for anybody. You know, if you're looking to be successful or get ahead in any area, you got to have the right tools for success. And surround yourself with people that have the knowledge to help get you there. You can't be an island and know everything by yourself. You don't know what you don't know until you partner yourself with somebody who can take you to the next level.
So, question for you. Why is it important to set goals? Daily goals, weekly goals, monthly goals, and so on?
Well, I think that's very important. You know, when you have goals, you have a vision, you got a purpose of moving forward. and getting better. You know, it makes no sense. I mean, in the sense of someone who has the mindset of an entrepreneur,
Right.
to stay at this level when there's other levels to reach. You know, I think in doing so, your competition is good. You know, you got to competing with yourself is good.
Right.
You always want to be better than you were the last time.
Right.
And that was the pressure that I was under as Mr. Olympia. Each year, I had to find that thing that would make me better than the year before.
Right.
So it's a good pressure.
Right.
It's good to have that pressure.
Right.
Not to the extent that it's ripping you apart,
Right.
but to the extent that it will cause you to do your research to find out, okay, what can I do differently than anybody else is doing?
Right.
What's out there that don't exist, that I can make it exist? I mean, I'm always looking for that next thing, because after having the supplement company, the speaking engagements, all these other things I had going on, I said, okay, what else is there? You know, how can I give something extra to the world that I exist in that don't exist? Well, guess what? I created the first certification program ever created by any Olympians.
Oh, wow.
I mean, so you have all these personal training organizations out
Right.
there, but what better experience than someone who's been there and done that, who
makes
worked
sense.
for the President of the United States, who
Right.
trained in Evander Holyfield to go from cruiserweight to heavyweight,
Right.
who trained the Steve Harvey, trained the Shannon Sharp,
Right.
trained cancer patients, trained senior citizen groups. I've done all of that.
Okay.
So when I do a certification program, it's not just one with a bunch of book knowledge.
Right.
It's real knowledge, been there, done that. But guess
Practical.
what?
Yeah.
One didn't exist at the time.
Uh,
Now one do. So I'm the first Mr. Olympia to do that. I'm working on some other things too.
Okay.
Nothing like being the first, man. Working real good, man. Just a matter of cleaning that diet up.
Cleaning up the diet.
Come down, man. You'll be a masterpiece when you get on down there. That's good. Yeah. Come on, cheat it. There we go. There we go. Cheat it. Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's it. Woo! That's nasty, ain't it? Hardest part to put the weights back, ain't it? That's the hardest part to put the weights back. Oh, yeah.
you know what standing too is, sorry, not to cut you, go ahead.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying, especially with the shoulder press.
Yeah.
Standing is
Sitting
harder
is
than,
easy,
yes.
man.
That's because you do heavier weights easier by sitting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but it trains the body to be wrong.
Yeah,
It's not nothing right about that.
Gotcha.
It's wrong.
When you competed, you did them standing also?
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
Very good. Very good. Yeah. Y'all been doing your homework. There you go. But I have y'all do 2 at a time instead of 1 at a time. That's a waste of time. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone, baby. That's good. Woo-hoo! Yeah, that's nasty. That's good. Good. That's good, man. That's good. Good.
What advice would you give to an aspiring entrepreneur?
Well, you know, one of the things, and the most important thing I would say, is if there's a desire in you to be a particular thing, don't let anyone tell you that you can't.
Okay.
You know, believe that you can. And in believing that you can, you have to work diligently at finding all of the tools needed to move you forward and being successful. You know, and like a lot of people say, well, you want to have a plan A, then have a plan B. Have a plan B in case plan A don't work.
Yeah.
No, you should not have a plan B.
Yeah.
Plan B is failure in the making. You know, plan A is plan A. That's what you want to be. That's what you determine what you wanted to do. So if plan A don't work this way the first time, go back, retool it, and go to plan A again, and go at it again and again. Never give up on your A. Never give up on your passion. I never will forget my dad asked me, you know, I was going to forego a football scholarship. You know, I needed my education, so that was my way of getting my education. And my dad, and I sat down with my dad and said, Dad, I really would like to stay in the bodybuilding. And you know, where I'm from, a little town called Whitestone, South Carolina, nobody knew what bodybuilding was. A guy standing with some underwear, what is that? And my dad, first thing he said, son, can you make money doing that? Hey, listen, that's what dads always ask. Can you make money doing that? I said, I don't know. You know, but my mom said, you know, mamas are anything you want, baby. You know, anything gonna kill with mama. Your dad, a boy, you better be able to feed yourself. But I believed in it. So with the football scholarship, I said, okay, I got to get my education because that's real important. But if there's a way for me to forego playing football and to focus on bodybuilding and still get my education, then I want to have that way. So one of my great, I guess, one of my heroes, his name was James Pee Wee Lambert. I still love him today. He's in his 90s. God has blessed him to live that long. And I think it's because he's been such a blessing in the earth. But I told him the situation. He was my principal and guidance counselor in high school. And I told him I'd rather get into bodybuilding, but I still need my education. And he says to me, this little old short, bald, white guy, he said, Lee, if the last thing we do, we're gonna get you some money for your education. And he made several phone calls. And I was able to get what is called a Basic Education Opportunity Grant that allowed me to go on and get my education at Spartanburg Methodist College in Spartanburg, South Carolina, which I have a degree in juvenile correction or youth counseling. So I was able to forego football, focus in the bodybuilding, get my education, and it was that year I won the Teenage America. And so I became the best built teenager in the United States, still got a full education paid for a grant, and was able to do what I love to do, to live my passion. And as a result of that today, I'm still living it. I've never missed a meal. You know, my family's been provided for because I stayed with my plan A. It's A, not A or B. And every successful person, particularly having trained people like Steve Harvey for over 12 years, Steve always believed in the plan A. He never had a plan B. And if you notice, everything that he's done from being in comedy, on TV, he still does comedy. Because his 8-year-old boy, he was doing comedy as an 8-year-old. You know, he never changed what he did. And the thing about it, his father encouraged it when he was a little bitty boy. He encouraged it. He never said, don't do that no more. Don't say that. You know, he said a few words. His dad took it to a barbershop so the other grown men can hear. Come on, listen to my boy, you know. And he was proud of his son. And he encouraged that. And he went on to be the greatest. Evander Holyfield. Evander used to work at the Boyce Club, well, that's where he really got started, at the Boyce Club. But he was going there as an 8-year-old, hitting the heavy bag, and then the head of the place said, son, you too young to be in here. So he would, okay, you gotta go. Then he'll find another way to get back in. So he's back in, hitting the bag again. Find it, son, you gotta go find it. The guy said, okay, that's enough. Here you go, put him up on same so he can go up there and hit the bag and world champ, several time world champ. Stay with plan A. If it's something you want to be, something you want to achieve, believe that you can. Don't let anybody put out your fire. Nobody should put out your fire. Don't allow them to do that. And you'll be a happier person for it.
Mr. Lee Haney.
All right.
This was an awesome pleasure.
Well, the pleasure's mine. Pleasure's mine. All right. Keep the fire. Yeah, baby.